What up, what up, what up?
What's up, everybody? Country Strong in the house.
The heart of it is back.
A part of it. Yeah, I know she said that people can't see, but there is people that's watching us.
That's fine, baby.
Here we are.
So tonight's episode, the theme of tonight's discussion is going to be the colorful hearts. Because we're going to talk about our experience being an interracial couple here in the South.
That's right. That's right. And a lot of times it's not easy. You know what I'm saying? And people look at you differently and stuff like that. But it don't bother me because I know what I feel in my heart. Like growing up, the way I was raised to see people. I was raised to see the inside and how people's worth, their hearts, their insides. Not, the outside is just what keeps your insides in. So that's the way I was born and raised. So, growing up, I had a lot of friends and that was diverse. And the fact of, I never saw anything different, didn't even think anything different. But, it's like I said, that's just the way I was raised. And I'm thankful for that.
Same with me. Growing up in Hawaii, I mean, I grew up around all kinds of different races. And Hawaii has a lot of military, so strong military community. So you had even more people, just diverse all over the place. And my mom and dad taught me the same like your mom and dad taught you, that you just love everybody for who they are, not based on the color of their skin.
Exactly.
Right? And even growing up, I had friends. I mean, all my friends were all mixed. I had Japanese friends, I had Chinese friends. Um, Now I'm gonna be honest, I didn't grow up with a lot of black friends only because there weren't a lot of black people where I was growing up. I mean, in Hawaii, it was what it was. But I did, like I said, but I still grew up around a lot of different races. Even white people. Again, all cool people. The only people I didn't hang around with were just mean people.
Yeah, exactly. And that was me, the fact of, you choose who you want around you, and sometimes it takes later in years to realize that. But if you realize it at a young age, and if you taught that at a young age, because the fact that's where it's taught from, you know, when you're born, you don't know how to walk. Somebody encouraged you to walk. You didn't know how to talk. Somebody taught you how to talk, and the same thing with everything else, and that's what my parents taught me is to respect people,
Hmm.
respect individuals, not the color of their skin or anything else. We're all made in God's image.
Yep. So at least growing up, so at least a foundation, yeah, of how we were raised, because I believe that's totally important in how you learn how to be with people and how to treat one another. We were raised right,
Yeah.
right? So you fast forward, right? You fast forward to when you and I meet, right? So you and I will meet, we met 10 years ago. And because, again, I'll speak for myself, because of the way I was raised, when I was looking for my next partner in life, I wasn't looking for color. I was literally looking for somebody who would treat me right, who loved family, who also had kids. I was looking for somebody who, was in the same life stage as me, meaning had children, but grown enough children, old enough children that we didn't have to start all over raising children, if that makes sense. Like those were the things I was looking for. And then when I found Craig, like when I swipe, what is it? Swipe left, swipe right. When I found Craig, he just happened to look like this. He had all of the qualities, at least what he said in his profile, with what I was interested in.
And the same thing, when I read your profile, talking about family and everything else, and then when I met you and I learned more about you, the fact of how you take care of your kids, how you take care of family, you give the shirt off your back. If you would give your last dollar and let your bank account go into red to give to family, if they needed it. And that's what I was looking for too, because the way I was born and raised, I grew up old school in the South. But when I say old school in the South, I mean I was born to the fact that taking care of family, family means everything. You respect your neighbors, you take care of your neighbors, you look after your community, and that's what my dad did. My dad planted a huge garden every year and let everybody come pick. It didn't matter who you were,
Yep.
it didn't matter who you were.
Yep.
And the fact of, my dad worked at the paper mill for 40.5 years. There was a guy, he was an African American guy, and he had cancer. And because of my dad's background in religion and how he looked after people and took care of people, he would come to the house when he found out he had cancer. And my dad would walk him around the whole property and talk with him and pray with him. And after my dad passed away, he came to visit and told me and my sister the story of how much that meant to him, for him to be there for him
Yeah.
and pray for him. So, it's
Mm-hmm.
just, I'm sorry, I'm tearing
No,
up.
I know he's good, but I remember that story. And I used to love hearing Dad talk about that story. And sis, even when we hang out with sis and we talk his story, she shares that same, that same memory. Now, all of that to say, that's the foundation, and that's at least Craig and I. And when we met one another, it's the same. I have the same memories as well, very similar memories of me growing up and how we were with our friends, our family, extended family, and the way we were. Because even inside my family, it's interracial. I have Haole cousins, I have Chinese cousins, I have Japanese cousins, Filipino cousins, like even inside the family, right? So at least from a foundational standpoint, between Craig and I, we have that strong foundation. That's not to say, so because, so it starts with the firm foundation, but I feel that that's what we need and what we needed, because that's not to say we haven't experienced racism, both of us. Like I've experienced it because Craig did have some friends who would make racist comments, not to my face, but like on social media, just little underhanded comments that, those subtle comments that really were racist. Yeah. And so I felt that. So at least from an insular perspective, meaning people close to us, from that side, so people from the South, strong feelings about, race and all of those things. But comments were made, and I heard them loud and clear. I definitely felt them.
See, it don't matter where you're from, because it's vice versa. I've had comments made, when I was
Hmm.
with her, and people that she knows and that make comments. Oh, you with a white guy because he's got good credit, but psych, my credit's yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
because he's the one with the jacked up credit,
yeah.
and I'm the one with the good credit.
That's right. See, I'm the lucky one. You know what I'm saying?
I do remember making a joke though, like again,
Yeah.
in all honesty, I remember when we first got married and we first got together. I made a comment on social media going, "Wow, I just got married to Craig, and dang, my credit score went up like 100 points."
Mhm. Yeah. Psych. But you know what? At the end of the day, I was blessed to be raised the way I was raised. Don't everybody get the same opportunity as me? You know what I'm saying? And I understand that. I understand the fact of where you know some people come from. Because of the fact you know. But I don't hold anything against anybody, and I just love everybody. And I just hated the fact of I wish everybody had the same opportunity I had growing up. The fact of a loving mom and dad that taught me,
Hmm.
love, respect, taking care of community and taking care of people that are in need.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't have that opportunity, and it breaks my heart, and so hopefully one day, with our foundation that we can change that. So
So you bring up something interesting. You talk about leading with love, like caring to to come from a good place like that. And Hawaiians, we say the same thing, right? Lead with aloha. And so even when both of us are faced with, these racist comments or just racist actions, for example, when we go to a restaurant and I make the reservation, or I'm walking up to the hostess desk and I say, "Oh, reservation for two." Okay, last night, oh, Hart. Okay, and then Craig's literally standing right next to me, and then they'll look at him going, "Okay, and how can I help you?" And it's like, no, he's the number two in the reservation.
I'm the
Like, we're
better
together.
half. I'm the better half of this reservation.
The fact I can get the reservation. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That because of that, because we choose to lead with aloha, to lead with love. It's like, I'm not gonna get mad. So for example, I'm not gonna excuse me and have attitude. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
no, they just don't know. But you know what they will know is, yes, we are together. And because we come from a place of love, we come from a place of understanding
Yeah.
and being better. So you hear it a lot, right? Especially in social media, be better, be better. We choose to be better. And even when we don't know, so even when I first got upset about the racist comments that I heard from Craig's friends, I didn't get pissed off and emotional. I just went straight to Craig and said, "So here's the deal. Here's what's happened. Here's what happened. Here's the situation. Here's what was said, and here's how it made me feel." And it was the same when he said, "Oh yeah, well, you know, a trip we made home to Hawaii, certain people said certain things, and he felt some kind of way about it." And again, because we choose to come from a place of aloha, from a place of love and caring and just trying to understand and to be better, okay, they just don't know. But now that you do know, this is how we're gonna, this is how we'll either pay it forward or, yeah.
Exactly, man. Because at the end of the day, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I have love and kindness for everyone. And if it don't matter who you are walking down the street, I want to speak. And if you don't want to speak, that's fine. But I'm at least gonna say, "Hey, how you doing?" Because you don't know what that means to somebody. If somebody's having a bad day, it don't matter what race, what color, it don't matter what diversity they're from or whatever. Just speak.
And I feel like our life experience from growing up to the in between years, a few years ago, and then leading up to now, for me, all of my children are all mixed. They in turn have children who are also mixed. So even when we all go somewhere together or we gather and we're all together, people look at us and some might know, like, okay, they might be related or they might not be. And this is way before Craig ever came into the picture. But even when I'm with my own children and with my grandchildren, people, are pleasantly surprised. So at least I can say pleasantly surprised that we're all related and like blood related, closely related. These are my daughters. These are my grandchildren. So that by the time, again, life experience, right? So when you live life like this, you already pretty much know how to deal with the reaction from other people, positive and negative. You know how to deal with them. And I love that even my children and even my grandbabies, they're learning that. Like I would hope years from now when they're my age, they'll say what I'm saying, like about my parents and how I was raised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And who can blame them at the restaurants now when we go places? Man, who would have ever thought that this beautiful Hawaii would be with a sexy, country strong boy like me? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Oh yeah, Whitney, squirrel, Whitney.
I was hoping he would forget that squirrel thing was over there
No,
and not be distracted by it. But clearly, that's part of the joke.
man, that ain't no joke. That's signature right there. That's signature right there. Oh yeah, that's from my dad. So
Yeah. So that's pretty much the heart of it, right? We have colorful hearts, and our life is, I feel like it's more exciting because of the fact that we're different races. It just works.
hey, if you got any questions, reach out to me because I'm a old school backwoods counselor.
Like I would love to hear like anyone else, like
Yeah.
anyone out there who also is part of a interracial couple or interracial family. I would love to hear. We would love to hear your experience. Like put them in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. I love all the comments and the DMs we get
Oh yeah.
coming out of the last episode. Again, this is why like Craig and I chose to do our podcast video, on video so people can actually see what we look like because there's just a lot of experience and just a lot of value there, I believe,
Yeah.
when you can actually see the two of us.
Man, we ain't even dug in yet, man. We got so much stuff that we've been through in life that, that we want to bring out in this podcast and hopefully it helps somebody down the road. So if you got anything that's on your mind, anything that you want us to talk about or anything you want to share, hey, we're here. We're here.
Yep, but
This
again,
is,
put it in the comments. Put
yep.
put your thoughts in the comments. If you think this doesn't make any sense, put it in the comments, man. Nothing's gonna hurt our feelings. Like trust.
I might cry one real tear, but yeah, go ahead and throw it in there.
Yep. So that's it.
Yep.
So, thank you for joining us and tuning in. We appreciate the like, subscribe. Like I said, feel free to put your thoughts in the comments. And with that, we're gonna sign off for episode 2 of the Colorful Hearts on this episode of At the Heart of It.
That's
Because
right.
at the heart of it, we leave with aloha, yeah?
Yep. HART.
All right. Peace. Bye.